Hi everyone, here's the Midori style traveller's notebook journal I've made for my friend Helen, who owns this beautiful Tongan beach resort. First of all, I've just covered the front in tapa cloth with a simple closure. And I went fuss free without charms and just left this little turtle on the front. So inside I've just used a map of Tonga as the guidelines and a little bit of tapa to cover within the front. This is a tracing paper pocket from the idea from Tracy Fox, who I loved her idea of photocopying onto tracing paper and then backing it with other paper. So these images have come from Pinterest, and I've used that as a secret tuck if you need it, and that's just a tapa cloth tab. Here's my nice ledger paper, and it's really old. It's 1920s ledger paper, and I've just rubbed it with a little bit of walnut stain. It's the only type I've been able to get here in New Zealand. We don't have that green paper like you have in America, so that I've always seen the green ledger. Ours is a little bit different. And here's just another tracing paper tag glued on, and the images are from either Pinterest or just online actually. Coffee stained paper and a beautiful whale image, a little bit of stamping and coffee dyed lined paper with some hessian. And there's more of that's the full ledger with some stenciling. And there's some vintage humpback whale on the back of a paper bag that some clothes came in that looked like wood, so I reused that with tapa at the top. A little bit of sewing in this journal, but not an awful lot. And here's a vintage Tongan warrior. Once again, that's tracing paper and just on the back of photocopy paper, and I've just sewed it with a machine. This was an eruption that happened around Tonga quite a few thousand years ago, and I just thought that was just a great image to include in the journal. And also some mermaids just in the black and white. I love that. It was a nice vintage shot with some rubbing of stencil. Now I based this journal around a book I got from the thrift store, as you call it, or as we call it here, the opportunity shop. And it was on the Queen's visit here to Tonga back in 1953. And here she is. Oh, actually this one here is the first one. Here's the Queen of Tonga, Queen Salute, waiting for the Queen of England to arrive on the boat to the island of Nuku'alofa. So I tucked that one in there, and here she is when she actually lands from the boat. So gorgeous. And on the back, that's actually a menu from a restaurant. That was the outside paper of the menu, and I just looked at that and thought that was fantastic to use for this journal. There's just a little tapa cloth insert, and this beautiful Island Girl stencil that I got. It's really good for this. And there's the Queen. They're just having a little meeting and conversation. I think that's really gorgeous. And there's another whale, another tapa cloth tuck with a tag, a nice little coffee stain tag, a secret pocket. This is quite gorgeous. This is Her Majesty the Queen Salute Tupo presents the company at a private function to honour the visit to the kingdom of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. So they were going to have a luncheon on the 20th of December 1953 at 12 noon. So there's the palace in Nuku'alofa. So it's gorgeous. I thought that would just add a little bit of interest. There's the die cut of a nice pineapple, and that's actually the paper that you use to stop dyes sticking to your card. Whereas I actually like the paper that much, I use the paper instead of the actual card. There's a gorgeous image of a humpback whale, and I love the fact that he looks like he's swimming into the page. sperm whale on this one. Nice little tag that you can open up and you could write in and journal if she should so wish. With a little tarpa cloth tag at the top. Tracing paper. Another image of a whale. I laugh at that one. I think this one's a humpback as well. He looks like he's upside down, but that's actually the right way around. Here's the centre. We've got tarpa cloth, and I've just stapled it this time. You could sew it if you would like, but I've just decided to staple it. And here's the centre of the book. I've just used a elastic hinge, just for the fact she can take anything out if she would like, if she wants to write a note, and she can take the paper out. So this is a stamp from Tonga of the mutiny of the Bounty boat on gorgeous coffee stained paper. I really like that. There's the other side of the ledger paper. Another bit of scrapbook. That's the Kaiser Craft, one of their island papers, the earlier, more vintagey looking one. I really love that, thought that was great. And here's another a fish tag with a tracing paper photocopy, really easy to do. Here's a little view, which is virtually what we're looking at now. It's just gorgeous here in Tonga, and so I thought that was just a nice little picture to add to the journal of what it looks like here. And here's a nice little stylized fish with a couple of tabs on there. And this is another picture of the Queen's visit. And they said what was interesting in this one, this is in the palace gardens in the morning of the luncheon, and see that little lump there, that is the palace tortoise called Tui Malila. He was evidently about 100 years old then, so I don't know how old he was when he died, but that's the palace tortoise. And once again, that's backed on that menu card that I got from a restaurant. So I thought that was quite fun. Oh, there's a tuck spot there with coffee dyed paper and tracing paper once again. That came out really well with the photocopier. All you have to do is put your tracing paper, just attach it at the top to your photocopy paper so it doesn't get stuck in your machine. There's a little tab, a fold out, a little separate fish tag and a fold out. I've just kept it empty and she can, you know, there's tuck spots there and there. A little bit of scrapbook paper. Turning it over. So there's lots of room for notes, and I thought of shopping lists. There's that other side of the Queen coming in. And there's the tracing paper idea, and there's underneath it. So as I say, to put it through your machine, you just need to attach it to the top of your paper so that it won't move or get stuck. It's too thin to photocopy on its own, but you actually attach it to some other paper. And there's the other part of the die cut, which I thought looked equally as good, and I thought I'd put that in. Coffee stain with some tarpa tabs. The fish, nice little fat fish. I think it's a tuna. And then coming across here with another tab inside the envelope, coffee dyed envelope. Oh, it's getting a bit windy here in the islands. Coffee stained paper, just a little extra piece of that paper that I had, and a little bit of embellishment on there, collage, and a bit of rubbing with my stencil. That was actually on the top of this one, so it was this island stencil. It was beautiful. Ledger paper, some coffee stained paper, and just another little spare tuck spot at the back. And that is it. There's another little secret tuck in there. There's the back. And as I say, it just covers only. So there it is, my little journal for my friend from the Kingdom of Tonga.